So as I left you off with the last video, I've got really one secret up my sleeve when it comes to making the Chevette keep up with everyone, and that is the button. Let me explain a little bit more. So my drivetrain setup is a little bit different than what people commonly run these days, but it really wasn't uncommon like as far back as the 80s when I remember racing. What I've got going on here is this is an automatic flex plate for an automatic transmission. And this is a steel coupler that bolts on there and the transmission goes right into it. Essentially turning this direct drive. So there's no clutch, there's no flywheel, there's nothing. It's just direct drive. The benefit to something like this is just sheer rotating mass. When I originally built this engine, I weighed the clutch and the flywheel assembly, and then I weighed the button and the flex plate, and there was a 25-pound difference. The flex plate with the button weighs 25 pounds less than a stock flywheel and a stock clutch. That's huge savings. That's huge throttle response. That's everything good. Now, I feel like most racers and most classes and most tracks have been aware of this for a while because it seems to be outlawed for the most part. And I have a hard time comprehending why something like this would be outlawed. It's not expensive, right? If you've got a clutch and you've got an old flywheel, all you need are those two pieces. This is the center of a clutch that's been cut out. This, you can use a flywheel on the automatic Chevettes. They actually come with a clamp ring that clamps the flex plate down. You can use that and you make your button. It might cost a guy, let's just say on the high end, if you were to take it to a machine shop, it might cost a guy a couple $100. But what's a clutch cost? What's a really good clutch cost, right? What are guys putting there? They're putting those Ram clutches or the Gold Star clutches, right? Then the throwout bearing and all that stuff. And what do you get out of it? Not the benefit that you get out of this, right? It's a little bit more work. You got to be a little bit better on the carburetor because it's tougher to start. That's why I run the ignition control module where I can advance and retard the timing, because when this thing gets hot, it's really hard to start, especially in gear. So I can retard the timing, it fires right up, away you go. But for something like a Chevette where you can spend 10 grand on this engine and you might make 115 horsepower, this is kind of what you need to keep up. It's easy to do, and if you're careful, it's just as safe. It's just as reliable. I'd really like to try it on a fuel-injected car because the ease of starting it would be so much more beneficial. The few people that I've showed this to in recent years and have tried it out have just been blown away with the results. But a lot of rules say the car must be able to move forward and backwards without shutting the engine off, which essentially means it needs a clutch of some kind. Around here, guys have been doing it since like the 80s. I still think there's a class of car where every car on the track runs a direct drive style flywheel. For the tiny bit of inconvenience it gives you, it's a pretty easy trade-off when it comes to the performance you gain. Just my opinion, you tell me. Most often, guys complain about this stuff because they can't go and buy it. They can't go to the store and buy a button, and somebody else does it, and they see the success that it brings, and they get scared because they might have to put effort into their car to go fast and to win and compete. And it's a bummer because like there isn't a bigger bang for your buck, I'm telling you right now. Stock cars around here have been doing it forever. And modifieds, there was a class of modifieds here where I race, and every single one of them, that's just how they did it. That's how they got speed out of it, because it was economical, it was cheap, and it was supposed to be an economical modified class. And if you wanted to go faster for cheap, this was the cheapest way to go faster. But this is also why I'll probably never really be able to race the Chevette and many other outside tracks. It already gets a lot of crooked looks just because of the fabrication that's been done to it over the years. And then they find out about something like this and all hell usually breaks loose. It's kind of disappointing, really. But around here, we got an awesome group of guys, and everybody seems to be pretty good with trying to innovate, with trying to be different and trying to find speed any way they can. So I'm just going to keep on rolling with it and loving it.